Good evening to all. I'm Nick. Hope I find you all well this evening. I'm going to open up with Exodus 34, 6 through 7. Then the Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him, and he called out his own name, Yahweh. The Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. I forgive iniquity, rebellion, and sin. So I'm going to kind of just start from the beginning, my childhood. I was originally born in Bogota, Colombia, South America. And I was adopted at age 2 and brought to Renville, Minnesota. And my talk is about grace. And so my first grace from God was being adopted from, I don't know if you guys knew a lot about what was going down in Colombia in the 90s. It hasn't gotten much better since then, but it's pretty awful down there. So I was very lucky to have been adopted. Growing up as a kid, I pretty much had the kind of like the standard childhood, you know. I went to a small country church for probably until I was like 10 or so, and that one closed down, then we had to go to town. But my grandma, I remember one summer, I was over there helping her with, in the garden and stuff, and it was kind of getting towards the end of the day and stuff like that, so we wrapped up and she brought me down to the wood shop down in her basement, and we carved out a little cross and a little Jesus figurine, and that was just, I don't know why, but it's always really just stuck with me. I'm kind of fast forwarding. I was a teenager, and we were at the doctor's, and the doctor had said, you have some abnormal liver function, so we're going to need you to come back in and take some blood tests. And so later that week we went in and I took some blood tests or whatever, and they had come to conclude that I had hepatitis C. I had been born with it. Fast forwarding a couple more months, we went in to get a liver biopsy, and it turned out I was already stage 3 fibrosis. Week later, the doctor comes in and we talk about treatment options and things of that nature. And they also told me that probably by the age of 25, I would either be ridden to a hospital bed or dead due to liver failure. So we tried treatment. We were successful for like the first 4 or 5 months went really good. And then we went in for the 6-month check-in, and my levels, the virus levels, were elevated again. So they said, we can wait, we can continue doing just trying to keep it from progressing super fast, or you can stop and we can wait until a new treatment comes out. So we waited. We did the to kind of try to slow it down. But then we went in again and they kind of said, you know, it makes you really sick. There's no point in doing this. And so that was pretty big stone to swallow as a 14-year-old. You know, you're looking towards your 20s and wanting to, you know, all the stuff the joys and stuff that brings. So that was pretty hard to bear. And we tried treatment again like a year later or whatever, and it didn't take at all that time. And so the doctors kind of they kind of handed me that sentence of, well, best of luck, but there's not much we can do. You know, we'll see you for hospice care in 10 or so years. So I kind of fell into a dark world. You know, doctors kind of tell you that it's not looking so good. You have 10 years. So I decided I was going to live life fast and hard, and I fell into addiction and drinking and stuff like that. Kind of fast forwarding to my 20s or whatever, I've been living that lifestyle now for quite a while, in and out of multiple treatment centers and things of that nature. And I was in Wilmer at a mental health center, and one of the nurses pulled me aside, and she told me, Nick, I think maybe you should look into Teen Challenge. That would maybe, I think, a year away from all this and a year to clear your head and all that could be. And we had visited a doctor sometime that year, and they had said that there should be some new treatments coming out for hepatitis C, but I had to be 6 months sober. So I made the big leap, and I decided to go to Teen Challenge for a year. And at the end of that year, I was cured of hepatitis C. It's now been 10 plus, almost 10 years since then. So God gave me another chance by the good graces of that. Kind of fast forwarding again, I'm about 24, 25 now, and I find out that I'm going to be having a child, Miss Crosby Grace, which ironically her middle name is to remind me of the grace that God bestowed upon me by giving me a second chance and being able to raise a wonderful little blessing. I'm sorry if I go a little bit fast. And so now at that time and point in my life, I now get the grace of God of being able to raise and teach a young child. And then kind of fast forwarding to today, it's not been about a year, it's been about, we're closing in on a year since I've been coming here. And I remember the first time I walked through those doors, I was really nervous, really anxious. And everyone here has just been so warming and welcoming. I remember one time this fall, I didn't know there was going to be an outdoor service, and we showed up, and we were just going to go home because we weren't prepared for the weather or whatever, and a couple of the members stepped up and said, we have extra blankets, we have whatever you need to stay. I've been invited to Thanksgiving by a member that had just recently met me and stuff like that. Someone gave me a box of cookies for Christmas. So this church has just been an absolute grace and blessing to be a part of and to have been welcomed in so much. So I went a little bit faster than I did, and I just realized I reached the end. So I don't know if I'm under. I'm definitely not over. I don't do well with public speaking, so I apologize. But that's kind of my story summed up rather nervously and quickly. So thank you all for listening. I appreciate your time. God bless, and may you shine your grace through your oath.